How are you?
Doing all right.
Good, man.
Good.
Have a seat, sir.
I got in, but hey, I'm not gonna do this interview. You don't want to? No, because it's gonna be an Aspinall fest. I'm not doing it. I see how close you guys are, and common sense tells me what type of questions I was gonna get asked. So I'm just like, give me time to speak to who you want to speak to. Thank you.
Jon Jones recently stormed out of an interview in anger after discovering that the host was a friend of Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones's hate for Tom Aspinall is more obvious than ever. His abrupt exit from the interview, triggered solely by the host's friendship with Aspinall, shows how deep the tension runs. However, Jon Jones called Tom Aspinall irritating and said he doesn't care for him, even if fans enjoy the drama. He made it clear that if they fight, he wants a huge payday. Jones said he's fine without the match, but Aspinall needs it, which puts him in control.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal. He annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying. And I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that you money, honestly. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Or else, my life is perfect without him. I don't need him at all, and he needs me. And that's a good place to be in a negotiation.
On the other end, Tom Aspinall gave his candid take on Jon Jones, saying that while Jones may be one of the all-time greats, he personally can't call him the best. He pointed to failed drug tests as a deal breaker, calling any use of performance enhancers cheating, especially if the opponent is competing clean.
Is he the greatest?
Potentially, but the way that I look at it, he has failed a couple of drug tests. To me, that rules you out of being the best of all time.
Really?
For me personally, yeah, I think.
Does it make him a cheat?
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. If you're on steroids or whatever, I don't think he was on steroids, but he was on PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. If you're on PEDs and your opponent isn't, that's absolutely cheating.
Things heated up when Jon Jones brushed off Tom Aspinall as a real threat, pointing to his lack of big-name victories over former champions. Aspinall fired back, saying Jones was ducking the fight to protect his legacy. The exchange only intensified an already fiery rivalry.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith, like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing against me.
However, in a recent interview, Jon Jones lost his cool and walked out after learning the host was a friend of Tom Aspinall. The moment showed just how personal the feud has become. His reaction didn't go unnoticed, adding more drama to an already heated rivalry between the two heavyweights.
Doing well.
You okay?
Good. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Good, man.
Good.
Have a seat, sir.
I got in, but hey, I'm not gonna do this interview. You don't want to? No, because it's gonna be an Aspinall fest. I'm not doing it. Come on, let's go. I see how close you guys are, and common sense tells me what type of questions I was gonna get asked. So I'm just like, give me time to speak to who you want to speak to. Thank you. Thank you.
Tom Aspinall even accused Jon Jones of dodging the fight out of fear. The claim added more heat to their rivalry and left fans questioning if the clash will ever take place.
Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Yes. Jon is conning the public. The fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years, and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year.
Is that fight happening?
The UFC are saying that it's going to happen. I think it's down to him and Dana.
Dana loves Jon Jones.
He's trying to grease up his ego a little bit. I think he's one of the best fighters ever. Definitely top 3. That's debatable when you start putting in about drug tests and stuff like that, I think.
Damn. What drug are you talking about specifically?
Yeah.
Jon Jones dismissed talk of him ducking Tom Aspinall, calling the narrative baseless. He acknowledged Aspinall's size, youth, and rising momentum, but questioned the value of beating him, comparing it to his win over Cyril Gane. Big in the moment, but meaningless for his legacy. Jones also stated that no real negotiations for a fight have taken place and firmly denied avoiding Aspinall.
I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally, after 16 years, we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds bigger than me. Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge. And everyone wants to see it so bad, but for me, it's like, what is it? What's in it for me? He changes nothing if I beat him. Beating Tom is just like beating Cyril Gain. Has a whole country behind him. He's hot right now. What happens to me after I beat him? Nothing changes for me. So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt, and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
While some claim Jon Jones is avoiding Tom Aspinall, others have a different perspective, as Rampage Jackson recently spoke highly of Jon Jones, saying he doesn't believe anyone on the planet can beat him. He explained that even when he fought Jones at his best, he couldn't win. While Rampage respects Tom Aspinall as a good fighter, he believes Aspinall is probably the second best, but doesn't see him as a real threat to Jones. He mentioned hearing that Jones wants to take 6 months before facing Aspinall, thinking Jones is taking the time to study and break him down. Rampage praised Jones for being a very smart fighter, even calling him the Neo of MMA.
You fought Jon Jones back in the day. People are
Why you only bringing up my losses?
People are all talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. How do you see that fight going? You got Tom or you got Jon?
Man, I don't think there's nobody on this planet that can beat Jon Jones, because I was in there with him. I was at my best, and I've never lost a fight at my best until Jon Jones. And, you know, no disrespect to Tom Aspinall, but he a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he's probably second best out there, but I don't see him.
You think Jon Jones finishes him?
I think Jon Jones is just a real smart fighter. I heard something like he want to take 6 months before he fight Aspinall. I think it's because he want to study him. He want to break him down, you know. Right. Jon Jones ain't no fool. He's probably one of the smartest fighters out there. I say he like Neo. He's Neo of MMA.
But on the other hand, Colby Covington has sharply criticized Jon Jones, accusing him of dodging a fight with Tom Aspinall. Covington argues that Jones's hesitation to face Aspinall damages his legacy and casts doubt on his claim to be the greatest of all time. He also made harsh remarks about Jones's character, labeling him cowardly and pointing to his off-cage mistakes.
I know he has to get that win, but do you think Tom Aspinall's the guy to beat Jon Jones?
For sure. John's scared of him. He's ducking him, man. He don't want to fight That's why he's like, oh, I'll vacate the title. I'll fight the number 10 guy. Fucking scared. Why do people think Jon Jones is a GOAT? He literally destroyed his legacy by ducking Tom Aspinall. The guy's a coward, and he's a woman beater. He beat his Jon Jones.
Dude, Jon Jones is an absolute disgrace to this earth. He's a joke. I mean, yeah, you beat Stipe. Stipe, respect to Stipe first off, because he's a first responder, and you know, he puts his life on the line for the people and for his community. So shout out to Stipe. He's, you know, the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was past his time. He shouldn't even have been there, man. He knows he was old, and he was just showing up for a paycheck. You know, that's not the Stipe of old, you know, that was in his prime anymore. So, you know, I don't think anything special with that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Nagano. You know, he ducked Nagano for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's going to. So I don't think anything special to Jon Jones.
However, Daniel Cormier firmly stated that Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall or any other fighter, completely dismissing that notion. Cormier believes Jones is playing a strategic game, focusing on protecting his legacy rather than avoiding challenges. He pointed out that while most fighters eventually pass the torch, Jones might take a different approach. However, he added that even a risky fight with Aspinall wouldn't damage Jones's legacy given everything he's already accomplished.
Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that. He is not afraid of that guy. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight this guy. He's not. I think he's trying to be more strategic. I think he's trying to make sure his legacy stands. I don't know how it could ever be faded. I mean, we do have short memories, but could you ever forget what he did? I don't think him fighting Tom Aspinall with the potential that he would lose is a bad thing. But as most would expect him to win the fight. But at the end of the day, the old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to go, unless you don't play the sport by the way that everyone else does it. Everyone else does it that way. Maybe Jones will be different.
Cormier also shared his own stance, saying he doesn't want anyone to build their legacy by defeating him, using Jon Jones as an example. He recalled how Jones rose to prominence by beating legends like Shogun and Rampage, becoming a legend himself in just a few years. Cormier compared it to Michael Jordan, overcoming dominant teams like the Pistons and Celtics before achieving greatness. He stressed that in sports, the new generation must first overcome the established stars to earn their place.
I'm not here to run the risk of someone making a name off of me. Shogun had to fight Jon Jones back in the day. Rampage had to fight Jon Jones back in the day. Those guys were big names that fought him as the young guy that was the champion. And he made a name off of all those legends, so that by the time I got to him, he was a legend. He was a legend already in 2016, 15. He was already a legend in 5 years, but that was only because he had beaten all those great guys before. It really is the tale of sport, right? The tale of entertainment. Before Michael Jordan could become Michael Jordan, he had to go through the Detroit Pistons, who were winning in the 80s. He had to beat the Boston Celtics to get to the finals, who were going back and forth with the Lakers. The old guard has.
Frank Mir shared similar views, defending Jon Jones against claims of avoiding the fight, arguing that Jones has earned the right to be selective after facing the best throughout his career. Mir highlighted how fans often overlook Jon's dominance. While he recognized Aspinall's speed and striking ability as significant threats, Mir believed that if Jones could close the distance and engage physically, he would still bet on Jones to win.
I think Aspinall's a phenomenal heavyweight. I think he's going to be there for a while. With Jon, it's hard for me to tell people. The guy has earned so much. I feel like sometimes people have such a short memory in our sport. The guy has been one of the most dominant fighters of all time. If he wants to pick and choose who he fights, at a certain point, he kind of earned the right to. But he faces criticism, I guess, from other people. But as far as what settles in my stomach, well, I get it because. Look how people are short memory with him right now. Oh, he's not the GOAT and he's dodging Tom. Like, man, this guy fought everybody. I don't count him out in a fight with Aspinall. I've trained with Jon. I know how he feels when he grabs a hold of you. I think Tom's hands could really be the X factor if we could catch him or not. Tom's striking is more powerful than a lot of the people and speed-wise in Jon's face. If Jon grabs him, though, I'm betting on Jon.
However, Tom Aspinall shared his final thoughts, saying Jon Jones has no other option. Now he either has to fight him or retire. Aspinall stressed that if Jones chooses retirement, it would be clear he's avoiding the fight. He expressed his excitement to compete, whether against Jones or anyone else, as he's simply waiting for the fight date. Aspinall also revealed that UFC officials confirmed the matchup is happening, clarifying that he's not chasing Jones, but wants the fight because Jones holds the heavyweight title. If Jones steps aside, Aspinall is ready to face whoever comes next.
Chasing, it's not the reason I want to fight Jon Jones is because he's got the belt. Nothing else. Like, if Jon Jones doesn't have the belt, I'm not bothered about fighting.
You'd be doing the same if it was Stipe.
I'd be doing the same if it was anybody. What I'm after is being known as the #1 heavyweight walking around the planet Earth right now. And the belt solidifies that for me, the undisputed belt.
Yeah.
Granted, I've got the interim belt. I've defended it. To me, that's not Jon Jones. Get out of the way. I'll take the title. I'll fight someone else. Happy days.
When do you want it?
ASAP.
Moreover, Coach Eric Nixick acknowledged that Tom Aspinall's hand speed could give him an edge over Jon Jones, but stressed that Jones is brilliant at controlling his opponent's hands, as demonstrated in his fight with Stipe Miocic. In that bout, Jones switched to southpaw and neutralized Miocic's jab, leaving him with just his cross, which Jones timed perfectly. Nixick shared a conversation he had with Aspinall, where they discussed avoiding the B range and not letting Jones take control. He emphasized that Aspinall would need to be aggressive in these moments, ensuring Jones doesn't set the pace or rhythm of the fight.
What advantages do you see that he has over Jon Bones Jones?
I think hand speed. But what Jon does very well, and what we saw in the Stipe fight, is Jon will occupy your hands. So Stipe's one of his best weapons was always his jab. So you saw Jon switch to southpaw, lead hand occupy, which left Stipe with one punch, which was a cross. So he was timing the cross to pull off and then was adding on. So I think when you break that fight down, I actually talked to Tom on Monday. We were kind of going back and forth a little bit on some of the game planning things. You can't be in that B range and just kind of get snake charmed by Jon. Let him grab your your hands, let him dictate the pace, let him dictate the rhythm. You have to be hyper aggressive in those positions, and I think that's what Tom would have to do in that fight.
Stipe Miocic told Tom Aspinall not to let John Jones set the tempo of the fight, pointing out that this rule applies to every opponent, not just Jones. Miocic highlighted that letting someone else take control is a big error and usually results in a loss.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think also, too, is that you just don't let them dictate what you want. So there's any fighter, not just John Jones, any fight, don't let them dictate what they want to do. Because if you let them do what they want, that's the end of the road for you. You're fucked.
Miocic also recognized John Jones as one of the all-time greats, applauding his smart tactics and unpredictable approach. He warned Aspinall to avoid the same errors he made during their fight, like absorbing damaging shots such as a liver strike. Miocic praised Aspinall's durability, power, quickness, and calmness, saying that with full focus, Aspinall has a solid shot at victory.
Well, Francis, he's got great power. He's getting better every fight. With Jones, he's as good as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. He's just smart, real tricky, and
Get booked with him and John Jones. What's the best advice you'd give Tom Aspinall?
don't do what I did.
Avoid the liver shot.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough, and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm on the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He picks his shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
Dricus du Plessis admired Aspinall's passion and drive, while noting that Jones is likely nearing the end of his legendary career. He expressed hope that Jones retires with a perfect record and that Aspinall becomes the one to carry the legacy forward. Still, du Plessis was quick to point out that Jones has a way of breaking down even the strongest opponents with ease, solidifying his place among the sport's best.
Aspinall is young, he's hungry. You have Jones, who is definitely at the end of his career, 38 years old. I don't need to see this because he's never been beaten. I want John Jones to retire unbeaten, and I want him to retire, and Aspinall goes on to be the next big thing. But John Jones being the warrior that he says, pay me enough and I'm doing it. Aspinall wants it, and one of them has to lose that fight. And that's the one thing, you look at it and go, Aspinall's probably going to win. But then, if you ask me that, I say, no. We've said that so many times with John Jones, and it makes it look easy. He is the greatest of all time, for sure.
Paddy Pimblett said the matchup between John Jones and Tom Aspinall absolutely needs to take place. While he backs Aspinall and wants him to win, he admitted Jones's incredible fight IQ and strategic skills make it hard to bet against him.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against John Jones. The one thing I do think John Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against John Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
Francis Ngannou said that Aspinall needs this fight to fully prove himself at the top level, while Jones stands to gain more financially. He also mentioned that Aspinall's grappling ability and wrestling background make him a much more difficult opponent.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall respond to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever he wants.
Eddie Hall showed strong belief that Tom Aspinall would defeat John Jones if they ever met in the cage. While he acknowledged Jones's legendary status in MMA, Hall felt that Aspinall's skill, speed, and potential would give him the edge.
John Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. John Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put John Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think John Jones, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking Tom Aspinall.
He also called out Jones for apparently dodging the fight, suggesting that the hesitation shows fear. Hall emphasized that what a fighter does matters more than what they say, and stood firm in his view that Aspinall would come out on top if the two ever faced off in the octagon.
I mean, he can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words. So, there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking John Jones.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also, check out our other videos on the screen right now.